Hi, welcome back. In this video, we'll take you through the two remaining concepts in building the right mindsets for learning. And these are learning how to learn and building habits. Let's get started with learning how to learn. So this is kind of like a superpower, and it's often been referred to as the essential skill of the 21st century. So above data science, above coding, above anything else, if you have the skills of learning anything, you will have a pretty awesome time. So let's take some notes from Dr. Oakley, who is an expert behind the science of learning. And her first tip is chunking. Chunking is the idea of breaking what you want to learn into concepts or chunks. In order to master a concept, you need to know what it is, but also how it fits into a bigger picture. So first, you can scan all the topics to get an idea of the big picture. Then observe an example. Next, try it yourself. And finally, try it again and again in different contexts. This is actually how we have structured this course. The next tip is to use the recall method. So I know when you're trying to learn something quickly, you want to flip through the pages or try to finish all the exercises really quickly. But it will go a long way for you to take a couple minutes to reflect and recall what you actually learned, for the materials to go from the short-term memory part of your brain to long-term memory. So now let's take a tea break. You can get up, do some stretches, whatever you want. And can you recall what we talked about in the previous video? That was only a few minutes ago. Awesome. Now finally, let's talk about building learning habits. So we all want a rapid transformation, but actually small choices and daily actions are transforming our lives. Now let's take two tips from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. First, small daily improvements matter over time. Daily improvements is the compound interest of self-improvement, which means getting 1% better every day will count for a lot in the long run. We can show this with numbers and the magic compounding. If you improved 1% each day, in a year's time, you have grown almost 38 times as a person, whatever that means. Versus if you did the opposite and declined 1% each day, in a year's time, you'll only be 0.03% of who you were a year ago. So obviously this doesn't make sense in reality. You're not shrinking, but it's a logical way to approach daily improvements. Next, change your identity to change your habits. So when we find it difficult to change our habits, it might be because of two reasons. One is we might be trying to change the wrong thing, or two, we might be trying to change it in the wrong way. So right now we want to build a habit of learning Python. So how might that apply to us? There are three layers of behavioral change: a change in your outcome, a change in your process, or a change in your identity. Outcomes are about what you get. Processes are about what you do, and identity is about what you believe in. With outcome-based habits, things like, I want to be able to code, the focus is on what you want to achieve. With identity-based habits, the focus is on who you wish to become. So the ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes a part of your identity. And this will be a two-step process. Decide the type of person you want to become, in this case would be a data scientist, and prove it to yourself with small wins. Ask yourself, who is the type of person that could get the outcome that I want? The most effective way to build habits is not to focus on what you want to achieve, but rather who you wish to become. So maybe you have a data scientist you look up to. A lot of them use Twitter or other social media. So follow them there, follow their work, and use that as an inspiration for you to change your identity to build learning habits. The four concepts that we talked about in this module is based on our experience with our students. So we would love to hear from you on what mindsets have helped you learn, and we hope to learn from you.